And welcome to Time Warner Arena on the Coach's Corner post-game show. In the words of Dorothy, no place like home. 6 wins in a row for the Bobcats now here at home, though, with a very important win. A team that's chasing them right now, crunch time. Big difference from being, 3 games up, 5 games up. Bobcats come in, hard-fought game, nothing flashy, but play solid basketball and get it done.
Yeah, not as, I think Al said in the locker room, not as great as an effort as on Wednesday against the Pacers, but then again, you're playing a team with the best record in the NBA. But you come home tonight, you're playing a team who's chasing you in the playoff standings. You're able to go out there, lead for most of the game. You kind of go back and forth a little bit there in the third quarter, but we're able to get some big shots in the fourth quarter, lock down on defense, and come away with a good win. It's a win that gets them the tiebreaker over the Cleveland Cavaliers now. So now they hold the tiebreaker over Cleveland and over Detroit, and that's the 2 teams that are chasing them. And they've really, Coach, started to put some separation for a playoff spot here. They're sitting in 7th, and those teams in 9th and 10th are Detroit, who are now going to be 5 games behind, and Cleveland, who are 5.5 games behind. That's a pretty good cushion with 20 games to go. It's not, it's not impossible for them to still maybe miss the playoffs, but they've got a pretty good cushion and are really making a push towards the playoffs. And the way they're playing basketball, I don't see how they don't make it.
And like you mentioned also, when you've got that lead plus the tiebreaker, it's like a 6 games, just like another game right there. That you've got to win and get ahead in the standings, because if you tie them, it doesn't do you a bit of good, though. But good effort tonight, though. Again, like you said, it is so hard when you play 82 basketball games to be at a peak level like you were there night in and night out. People that have never played, have never coach don't realize that. As much as you want to go out there and play your best, some nights you just have it, some nights you don't. Some nights it's a workman type game, and that's basically what we saw tonight, where they came out, executed. Was not a lot of emotion for tonight's game anyway, as far as, crowd really didn't get fired up in the ball game, though, but it was a solid game, and it was a W.
Yeah, crowd got fired up late because it was a close game, and we're able to help pull them through. But I think these kind of wins, Coach, where maybe like Al said, they didn't play their best, but they're still able to win. I think those are almost more impressive wins than when you do go out there and you're clicking on all cylinders. Wednesday night, they were locked down on defense. They couldn't miss a shot. They were doing everything right. And when you're doing everything right, even against good teams, you're going to, win a lot of ball games. But those games when you maybe don't have the same intensity, or you're maybe not hitting the shots you hit the other night, but you're still able to battle through and get that win, that shows integrity from this team, and that just shows fight. It shows how together they are, and it's a really good win for them against a team that's chasing them, because Cleveland had to come in here with a sense of urgency, knowing they need this game, and the Bobcats were still able to pull it out.
Nice luxury when you need a motivational speaker that you can bring in your owner of the team, who's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, in a big game like we said tonight, a swing game with somebody chasing you. What a luxury to have.
Yeah, Coach Clifford said that Jordan came in tonight, wanted to just send a message to the team. Hey, I like what you're doing. You're playing well. You're playing together. I like the fight that I see on the court. I love how y'all are playing right now. And he wanted to just kind of give them a message that, hey, we're in the final 20 games of the season. Right now, you're a playoff team. You're making a playoff push. It's time to really lock in that focus. And they've been doing that, but that's why Jordan's letting them know, hey, let's continue to do that. Lock in that focus, get it in your head that we're a playoff team, that we're going to come ready to play every night. We're not, and get it in your head, and I thought this was a big point, we're not just looking to make the playoffs. We want to start getting the mindset of what we're going to do when we're in the playoffs. So I thought that was very important, because I think the first time we made the playoffs, we were sitting there saying, oh, it's great to be here. If we get swept, we still made an appearance. I loved how and Coach Clifford said this too, not just Michael Jordan, and I love the message that they're sending to this team. Hey, let's just not be happy with making it. Let's go in there and try to make some noise.
Well, we were happy, like you said, the first time with the white out in here, and just happy being there.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere.
Got the T-shirt. Everybody's got their T-shirt. Love the T-shirts and all like that, though. But, how many times have we seen in recent years where a number 8 seed comes in and gives a number 1 seed, or a number 7 seed gives a number 2 seed disfits, where the series goes to the limit right there, and in some cases they've even pulled the win out and knocked one of the big dogs out of it first round.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once you get in, anything can happen. I mean, of course, those big name teams like Miami and Indiana, they're going to be the favorites, but that doesn't mean, like you said, you can't give them fits, make it a tough series, win or lose, win a few games. The way you've been playing at home, you won 6 in a row here on your home floor. You've got a pretty good advantage coming into this building. So there's always a chance to get in there and make some noise, and I think that's why it's a great message to tell his team, not when the playoffs start, hey, let's start getting focused, let's get ready. Let's start doing it now with 20 games left. So these last 20 games, we can, like he said, as a team get ready, as individuals get their bodies ready, get their minds ready, and so when that comes around, we're ready to go, and we know what we can do once we get on the floor.
And we say 20 games, that's going to go by quick because you got to turn around and play tomorrow night in Memphis, turn around and play Monday night here, then be 18 games. 18 games left after that, though. But good performance tonight. Looking at scoring, Al has 28, didn't quite get his 30. Kimba with a big fourth quarter. We looked at each other and said, Kimba's going to have to step up in the fourth quarter. He had 8 points going into the fourth quarter, scores 12, and basically I thought was the difference in the game. And getting the big baskets, knocking down the shots, getting the ball, he had a big fourth quarter.
Well, first of all, how great is it that we can look each other and go, we can't believe Al didn't get 30. That must mean that guy's really lighting it up because 28 is still a very good game. I mean, he shot 12 of 18 from the floor, another good shooting night. But then, like you said, the Cavaliers saw what Jefferson was doing, so they tried to center on him in the third and fourth quarter, double team a little bit, make him kick it out, and that's where Kimba, like you said, he saw how the game was going. He had been passing most tonight. He had 14 assists tonight, but he knew in the fourth quarter, with all that attention on Al, he had to be the aggressive one. He comes out, scores 12 fourth quarter points. It was a tie game going to the fourth, and then he also knocks down, he goes 9 for 9 from the line, knocks down some big free throws down the stretch. So I think Kimba played like a flawless game. 14 assists, 1 turnover, and then down the stretch he knew he had a score, and he scores 12 points in the fourth to finish with 20. That is a really good game from your point guard, and that's the kind of game you're going to need from him going down the stretch here.
All right, we're going to throw a stat out here from your guy tonight that Chris Douglas-Roberts, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 1 away from a double-double, 4 out of 7 from the three-point line. I don't know where this came from, but again, you know, and you brought this up too, it's a guy, even when Gerald Henderson comes back, you got to try to find him some minutes to get in there because he's played well, you know, doing things, rebounding, shooting, and has stepped up in a big way, which it seems like the Bobcats have had an injury. Somebody finds a way to step up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. He turned into my guy this last week because the way he stepped up and played, you got to give some credit to a guy who hasn't played a lot of minutes this year, but's able to come in and start like that while Gerald Henderson's out. And like you said, Coach, first of all, it's the surprising three-point shooting because he wasn't shooting that well earlier. Now he's knocking down big-time shots, but it's also the other little things he does. He led the team in rebounds with 9 tonight, but also we saw 3 or 4 times where he was in the passing lanes, deflecting passes. Those little things make a difference, especially on a defensive-minded team and a coach like Coach Clifford. So, you know, of course, there's no argument here when Henderson comes back, he's going to be the starter, and that's how it should be. But you have to think about it when a guy's playing that well and he's providing these things to a team, you can't just cut his minutes off completely because you got Gerald Henderson starting, you got Gary Neal coming off the bench. You don't just want to throw CDR back on the bench when he's playing this well. So, like Coach said, if he goes out there and plays like he did tonight, shoots 4 of 7 from 3, leads the team in rebounding, Coach is going to have to find some minutes for him. And so that's a credit to CDR in the way he's playing, and that'll be another bonus going down the stretch when we get Henderson back. It's only going to make this team deeper.
And I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing about coaching, and I can tell you this firsthand, is getting players the minutes they deserve. Because as a coach, you'll fall in love with what's going on in the court, and you don't want to change anything. Right. But you got to realize that those guys got to have rest and all like that, though. But, you know, I had a great point guard one time, used to play him 32 minutes a game. And he was up to it, though. But that is the hardest part of coaching, is getting the guys the rest and getting the minutes in there. And I know Coach Clifford probably would tell you the same thing.
And I think one great thing about it is, I would say here maybe a month ago, the biggest weakness for this team was their bench. I mean, you know, they had guys that could come in like Sessions maybe and give you a good night, pretty much night in and night out, but nobody else really. Cody was struggling, you know, Biz was struggling, but now you've got a pretty deep bench. You know, you've got Gary Neal, who scored in double figures tonight. Luke Ridnour had a rough game tonight, but he still can provide some backup minutes to give Kimba some rest. You got Cody playing a lot better. Now, if Henderson comes back and CDR's off the bench, you throw him in there along with Tolliver. That's a pretty good bench, and so, I mean, that's going to be a strength to this team down the stretch. Now, like you said, especially like games like tonight, you win, and now you go on a road back-to-back. Now that bench is going to have to help you play a little better down the stretch. And
again, Josh McRoberts with another good game tonight, 11 points, 7 rebounds. But the premier matchup of the night was Zeller versus Zeller. Yeah. And little brother Cody won the battle of tonight statistically, 7-4 versus Tyler with 5-5. Yeah. So give it to little brother. And the round 1 of the brother heads up play, he takes the win.
Yeah, little brother wins this matchup tonight. He outscores them. Also had one of the bigger plays of the game. MKG gets a block at the rim. It goes the other way to get to Cody on the break. Cody gets an and one over Zeller, over his brother because he was in the circle, and gets an and one, gets the crowd going. So I really like how Cody's playing. And like I said, really you can't say anything bad about anybody on this team. This team's clicking on all cylinders. It's a credit to the players, how they're playing. It's a credit to the coaches, and they're in a good spot in these last 19, 20 games going down the stretch. They've set themselves up nicely.
And it's kind of interesting, there's no rest for the weary, because the minute we finished locker room interviews up, the players had 45 minutes and the plane takes off for Memphis. So they had to hustle it up, get on to the plane, catch it, get there, and try to turn around and do it again against a very, very physical and good Memphis team that we saw in here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we saw Memphis in here a couple of weeks ago. The Bobcats were able to get the win, but if you remember, Memphis did one of the better jobs this year of shutting down Al Jefferson. He had an off night. The Bobcats were still able to overcome that and get a win, but Memphis is a team who's sitting ninth in the West right now, a game out of the playoffs. They're desperate to try to make the playoffs out there in the West, so they're going to come out playing hard. They're going to come out with revenge against the Bobcats because of the loss here in Charlotte last time. So this is going to be a very tough game for the Bobcats. It's definitely winnable the way this team's playing right now, but you got to know that you got to come out with the intensity on a back-to-back, because Memphis just came off a loss tonight on a back-to-back as well, and like I said, they're going to be playing with desperation, so you're going to have to be ready to go.
Did Chicago end up beating him tonight?
No, I'm sorry, Memphis beat them. I'm sorry. So
okay.
They got a win, which was a big win. I apologize. They got a big win in Chicago, so they had to travel on the road, and they're going back home tonight, and they'll be ready for us tomorrow night. But again, they're still desperate because they're still sitting outside looking in for that playoff race in the West, and they're going to want to win that game at home.
So the race is who's playing can get to Memphis first.
That's right.
And get in there, though. So again, both teams played on or we flying in tonight, though. Both teams coming off wins, but they were both hard-fought wins against very good basketball teams.
Both hard-fought wins. Memphis gets a win against the Bulls team who's in the playoffs right now. We get a win right now trying to hold on to our playoff spot. So it's two teams who have a lot to play for. Should make for a great game tomorrow night. And like I said, the Bobcats got to be ready to play, because I know Memphis is going to come out at home looking for revenge and looking to continue to try to make the playoffs.
All right, our viewers out there are probably asking, why are you wearing a bow tie on Friday night? Bow tie night's Wednesday night. Well, I looked in the record books, and the Bobcats have not lost a game this year when I've worn a bow tie. So we may ride this horse a little bit longer and sees what happens, because I know when I was coaching, there were things I was superstitious about what I wear, what I not wash, what sport coat would I wear when we played them last time. In your playoffs, you don't ever change your coaching attire. You do that, though. So I'm having a little fun going back to the coaching days on trying to look for the good things.
Hey, listen, I'll take anything I can get that's going to, if we think it's going to help this team, I'm all for it. So they keep winning, you keep wearing the bow tie, I'll be a happy guy.
That's what the communications department, what Michael told me, too, to go out and buy some more bow ties. Right. I informed him about 5 new ones this week. So
I like to hear. So I mean, like I said, we talked about this all the time, Coach, and we're going to talk about it again, but a team who is really bringing it for their home crowd. 6 home wins in a row is an impressive streak, and it's just really good to see this team clicking on all. They're clicking at the perfect time of the season, and the coaches got their mindset right. The players have got their mindset right. Everybody is on the same page. They know what's at stake, and so it's going to be fun to watch down the stretch.
And that's the thing you said right there. Fun is the key thing, because a couple of years ago, you remember going in that locker room when those guys tried to be cordial, they tried to talk, but were so frustrated and having absolutely no fun at all. With 7 wins, we're the laughing stock of the NBA. I'm glad to see, although there's only one of them left from those days, but I'm glad to see this franchise get to have some fun, because it was miserable, that 7-win season. We were both here and all, and it's good to see the fans getting to have fun, players having fun, communications department having fun. We're having fun. All God's children are having fun.
Yeah, it was a couple of guys left on that team. Kimba was there, Gerald Henderson was there, and so that was really the only 2. So those 2, and those were 2 of the biggest guys on the team. So for Kimba and Gerald to have to experience that, and now they get to experience this and are experience a team who's pushing for the playoffs, it's great to see, and it's great for the fans. And like I said, this might be the best stretch of fun basketball we're going to see from the Bobcats in their history. I know they made the playoffs once, but we're not just playing to get into the playoffs here. We're playing for seeding. The Brooklyn Nets lose tonight, who are ahead of us. We get a game on them. So there's a lot to play for down the stretch. And I think the biggest thing that I'll take away from the night, Coach, is hearing that Coach Clifford and the players say that, hey, our mindset is not to just squeak into the playoffs. Our mindset is to come in there and know that when we get in the playoffs, we can make some noise, and that's the biggest thing I'll take away from the night. What
I'll take away from, too, is Coach Clifford's a smart coach, in that when everybody asks him what did Jordan say, A lot of pressure right now, but he's keeping things in perspective. He's having a good time. He was kidding around telling us that Jordan said, in spite of a bad coach, y'all are still doing good, which he's, my book should be one of the ones up for the voting for Coach of the Year, though. But I like this coaching staff. I've said it about every night. I like Coach Clifford. I like his approach to the game. He's honest and all. And I like it that, in a pressure zone situation like that, you can still have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a wonderful job, a great job. He definitely will be in the Coach of the Year running. I don't know if he'll get it just because of how good Jeff Hornacek's been for the Suns in his first year as a coach as well. He's got that team, and we know how much as we like our Bobcats and they're in the playoffs here, we know how hard it is to make it out in the West. He's got a Phoenix Suns team who was projected to finish almost dead last, holding down a 7th seed in the West right now, so that's impressive. So he's definitely the front runner, I think, but Coach Clifford is definitely going to be in the mentions, and what he's done this year has been incredible, and I think we finally found the guy who could be here for years to come. Even though Larry Brown was great and got us to the playoffs, we kind of knew that he was a stopgap guy. This is Clifford's first coaching job, and I think that he could be here for a long time. And the other thing about it is, you can't, as much as you want to give credit to him, and we do, you got to give credit to his whole staff. They built a great staff together, and it's like I said, it's all clicking. That's really all we can say.
And while we're at it, let's give kudos to Larry Brown for turning around the SMU program out there where they're headed probably for the playoffs, having a great season out there, though.
Nobody ever doubted that he's a great coach. You just, the way he, wanted players in and out around here as far as trades go, kind of.
Can't do that in college.
Set us back a little bit, trading people. But like you said, in college, he's come back, done a great coaching job. We've talked basketball with that guy, and we know he knows his stuff. So
short turnaround. We'll be back Monday night to talk after the game with the Denver Nuggets coming to town, though. But happy note here from Time Warner Arena. The Bobcats are 101-92 winners. They go home with pizza and free tickets tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd got a good game, got a win. You got half-off pizza tomorrow, and everybody in attendance gets a ticket to Monday night. So hopefully they'll redeem those and use those, and we'll have a good crowd for Monday night to continue to go for 7 in a row at home.
Come on out, join in the fun from Time Warner Arena. The Denver Nuggets come to the Charlotte Bobcats Monday night. We'll both be here. He's Dustin Phifer. I'm the coach, Dick Cox. Have a good weekend. Good night, everybody.